Hello everyone. I'm sorry I won't be able to turn my video on as the internet एकदमै lag भइरहेछ. But welcome back to our fifth virtual edition of Leaptalk. To people who are curious, Leaptalk is a platform where everyone can share thoughts, ideas, and their experience on the relevant and trending subject matters. This is a concept created for leapfroggers to foster conversations and learnings around things that excite us and also invite speakers and guests outside of leapfrog. So if you guys think the topics that we're sharing is a little interesting for people, we do have external leap talks as well. So before jumping into today's leap talk, let me welcome our speaker, Mr. Anup Maharjan. He is pursuing a career as a business process analyst. He started his professional career as an OSS engineer at Huawei Telecommunication Nepal. And as he says, that was where he was first introduced to the concept of business application design. He found it interesting that, irrespective of the nature of an organization, implication of business process is necessary for efficient functioning of any organization. In relation to that, currently at Leapfrog, he's looking after the requirement analysis and application design with respect to dynamic platform. Such fancy and amazing words. I'm so excited. So, about my excitement, in today's Leap Talk, we will be talking about business process implication. The session will help us conceptualize a perception about how companies are bound to business process in their daily activities, scope of rising industry of business process application with perfect management, and finally, about the things that are handy while going for business process projects. So many P's. Interesting, Aida. So before we start, a request. Please, अब यो भनिरहनु पर्दैन, but yes, muted mics and questions, Tiny, you can jot it down on the chat so that Anup can address them at the end. We won't be disturbing him with our questions in the middle of the session. Hi. So last month, I'll be sharing. If I forget, I tend to forget this. Tara our team will be sharing the Google form. So please do fill it up so that we know how to improve or what all other interesting talks we can bring for you guys. So without, I think Anup is all ready with that smile on his face. So
Yep,
okay, let me
Pranjali.
hand this session over to Anup.
Yep, thanks, Pranjali, for a nice introduction. So,
Yep.
those who don't know me, I'm Anup Maharjan. So, currently the business process analyst at Leapfrog. And as like Pranjali said, I'll be giving the session on the business process implication. And about this, this is generally, I will start my sharing my screen. So, yep. Yes, can see the screen, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yep. So without further delay, I'll be going through the slides that will cover about the CRM processes. So this is the customer requirement management process, and ERP process, that is enterprise resource planning process, and about how the process are implemented, and the key factors, the core concepts about the business analysis while before going for the project, and the business implementation and things to be considered. So we can generally see in our daily life, we go through different processes, like within our surrounding as well in the office. We go with the process like HR management, uh, leave applications, and while going to the outside world as well, we can see uh, in the restaurant as well, we have the system of delivering food nowadays as well, and in the banking sectors. So what I'm trying to say is that in any sector that we go or we present ourselves, we are surrounded by these business processes that goes at the background, and we tend to not know that, but it is all managed by these processes. So what these processes does is that it helps us to arrange the things and to manage things, so we don't get diverted to our different uh, sectors, or we focus to a single goal, and for that we define the stages. So basically saying about the CRM process, so as I said before, it mainly focus on this improving the business's relationship with the customers. So for every business, its target goal is to satisfy the customers and to get the businesses, definitely. So for that, some sorts of processes are designed that have been following uh, from a long period of time, and it have been optimized and uh, used. So better versions of these processes are being implemented in the market. So these CRM processes tends to uh, uh, helps to get the new customers and also retain the old customers. And these are the main focus of the CRM processes. So wherever we go, we are introduced to it. Even in our Leapfrog, our principals are focused to get the new businesses, and they also tends to retain the existing customers, right? So that's how the system goes. And this is implemented by other organizations, every organization. And so how does a CRM process work? Here, it is a basic structure that is followed. So everyone might knew, but I will tell you again. So first one is we get leads. We have three terminologies in a CRM process, that is lead, opportunities, and finally the customers. So leads are whoever leads are the one that are the probable customers. So when we do the marketing or the campaign, we might have found the customers, or when we do the service, we might found the customers. So these are the leads. And when we go to the leads and contact to them and have created a strong bonding, or they are probable to have the contract or give a business to us, then they are marked as opportunities. And finally, when we sign a contract and have a deal, those are converted as our clients. So first what happens is we go with the verbal communication. It can be through the mail or the telephone marketing or different exhibitions. And from that, we collect the data, and the data are maintained in our organizational database that defines that these are the probable customers that we should approach. That definitely the marketing team inside the Leapfrog are doing the same thing as well. They make the list of it, and after collecting the data, they analyze that, okay, approaching this client would be fruitful to our company, or we tends to work on the same platform as this clients need, so we will better approach to this one. So this kind of judgment are made, and these informations are sent to support selling, marketing, and management. So the support team will generally helps to retain the clients. Clients, the selling team are targeted for a new uh, team, and the marketing are the campaigns that we use to get more clients, and the management team generally manages all the things within the system, right? So these are the basic steps of the CRM process. And moving on to the next one. So what does the business process do? So business process, as I said before, is a set fixed definition of the stages or the applications that are developed to organize the things, such as suppose we have the knowledge-based management. So what does this knowledge-based management do? So knowledge-based management, we make a process in which we tends to retain all the informations about the history data, why the customers are uh, excited, or what drives the customer to our uh, new projects, or what are the output, what are the bad experience with the customer. These all informations are maintained in the system. So for that, we can create a process, uh, feedback process or analyzing process. So these are maintained in the knowledge-based management. So knowledge, this is not only just the sector, it's about making a accurate process to go on through. Just like that, we get a better visions to organization is that by following the process of defined processes, we can understand that what the organization goal is and what clients are motivated towards. And similarly, we have lead and opportunity management. Like I before said, this is the core concept of the CRM process. And we have the marketing campaign, like uh, in between this month and the next 6 months, we will be moving on to do 3 more campaigns so that we will it is directed to the woman or something like that. So these are process. So before implementing this process, we need to design this process. So how would our structure be defined as? So what are the steps that we should take? To which team we should consult? These kind of steps need to be defined beforehand before we go on to it for the efficient uh, approach, right? So these are defined by the business process. So moving on, we have second is ERP process. So ERP process stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Um, it relates to all the processes uh, that comes inside the enterprise or organization. So it's like managing the staffs, the human resource management, accounting, managing their salaries, of course, procurement, hiring a new uh, employee. Similarly, the project management, risk management, this all comes under the ERP process. So generally speaking of it, all the process that we see in our daily life or in the organizational life, this all falls under the ERP processes. So again, as said before, these processes are being developed from a prehistoric time and is being operated day to day. And we have finally developed ERP processes nowadays in the market. And what all these are based upon are the common database. So what does this means that all these systems rely on the same database. So all the informations can be accessed from manufacturing team, from marketing team to manufacturing team, and the inventory team. So like this, it goes on. And the CRM is also considered in ERP process. But for CRM processes, we have dedicated sector for sales and opportunities. So I just categorize it in a different process part. And basically this inventory management, suppose we have the big chain of commercial business, uh, like the delivering of the system and big e-commerce system. So in that we need to manage the inventories as well. So these kind of process are defined in the inventory management system. So this way for different like process management, sales management, for each of these topic, we can have the separate topic, separate process, but all of these relies on the common database so that we can communicate with each other process. So what are the business value of ERP process? So improve business insight. What does this happen is that we get a knowledge of the real-time informations, like what is happening in our sector A, or the campaign that was held on Baghmati region, or the something like that. So it gives the information of the real time. So from that we can make decisions to improve our business insight. And lower operation cost is like that. If we are able to manage all the systems in a systematic way, like we have definitive process, like for inventory management, it should go through vendors, to our suppliers, through the different set of stages. Then we will have lower operation costs, of course. And enhanced collaboration means as this purchase, inventory management, marketing, all of these are connected together. So these all teams can collaborate with each other, and it definitely increases efficiency as well. And consistent infrastructure is all of this system builds on the same database and same platform. So people tends to be more natural to all of these processes, and we have reduced risks and lower management and operation cost, of course. So these are the business value of the ERP systems. So as I said before, these all are processes, and we have to define. We might have the customized process design. Something like leave management system. It might not be the ERP system itself, but we can develop it as per our requirement. Like nowadays, we can have the order and delivery systems when we go to the online marketing, or for food chain systems. And these are the management systems. So these all systems, we know that these all systems are required so that our organization can perform. We definitely add values to our organization. So this can be developed in the ERP system platform. So what we need is we need to define the fixed stages and action. So we need to define the trigger points for the transition, that is in which, according to the which actions item it responds to the another step, and the values, addition of values to the action item. So I will give the example. It will be a little more clear. So this is the leave management system, and it is not designated to some specific organization. So you cannot relate this to any of the organization. So it's just a demo sample. And what we have is, here we have the first stages. We have definite stages being defined. And in this swim lane, yep, we have these swim lanes that we call swim lanes. And in here, we have defined the stages. So during the leave management system, it goes to the create stage, approval stage, and the confirm stage. And during this process, we have the personnel that works on, are the applicant or direct manager or the management team. We can keep on adding the other part as per required as well. But for leave management system, I think this much will be enough. And what happens is, first, applicant go and apply for the leave, and we have the conditions. It goes in the same stages. It doesn't get diverted. So that's why this process design in the ERP system helps. So first, the applicant apply for the leave, and the system checks whether it is for less than 2 days or the greater than 2 days. And while validating it, it goes to the direct manager or the management team, right? So we can have different criteria as per our requirement as well, and we will just implement it in this process design. And so these are the stages, and this is the trigger point. If it is less than, our direct manager can validate it and approve it, right? And if it is greater than 2 days, it can go to the management team, might ask the reason for that. Why is it more than 2 days? And based on that, it approved it, and finally update in our database and complete it. So this is the happy part. So while designing the process, we need to consider both the happy part and the diverse part. So in happy part, let's assume that everything goes well, and it goes from beginning to end in a straight path. So in the diverse part, we have some constraints, like it get rejected, or the system get delayed, or there are some conditions that we need to fulfill, and until and unless it cannot be approved. So these kind of things need to be considered in a ERP process design phase as well. So this is the basic step. And what more value can be added to this system? So this is the basic steps, but the value can be added if suppose we have, soon after we apply for the leave, during this stage, if the notification goes to the direct manager, email notification or SMS notification, then it will definitely add the value. So it will get notified and can validate, right? So same goes to the management team. And from this simple process, we can also define the KPIs. So we can define the KPIs of the applicant or the direct manager. Right? Direct manager need to approve the request within 1 day. So we can define in the system as well. So if it is violated, then we it will hamper the KPI of the manager. So we can define like this, and similar to the applicant. And finally, from this same system, we can generate a report about which applicant goes went for the leave for how many days, and how much time does the direct manager or the management team take take to get the action on the application. So while it seems like it is a small application, but it is adding up way much value. Like for example, if we have KPI the report and dashboard that is shown uh, monthly or annually, it will definitely uh, helps the applicant and the uh, direct manager to work on timely basis, right? So these are the simple things that the process in which the process is designed. So similarly, we can go with a visitor management system or any other process that we can define by ourselves, right? So this is the part of ERP system as well. This is the customized ERP system. And now going on to the business analysis. So after the CRM and ERP processes, let's talk about the business analysis. So for every organization, when we are going for the business, so what things need to consider? What are the things that will help to grow our business? So I have made a cartoon character that says Olive Baba, and this character is Olive, and this one is Baba. So they are discussing about the businesses, but actually it is giving the insights about the 6 core concept. So first one, we have change. So the change is the act of transformation, a response to a need. What are the kinds of changes we are doing? So what Olive is saying that she is having a great business. She had a grocery shop and having a great business. And now for that small business, we need a change. So the Baba is suggesting that the Olive should have separate finance department to manage all the business transactions as her business is growing. So this is the change that organizes a client or a business is needing, and with those changes, we should be acting upon. So this is one of the concept. In the second concept, we have a need. So need is a problem or opportunity to be addressed. What are the needs we are trying to satisfy? So Olive tends to be more greedy, and she wants to increase the customer and be famous as well. And what Baba is suggesting that, so the target was to increase our customer, and Baba is suggesting that she should increase the business region and target the offshore customers as well. So for a business, Olive need a chance to get more customers, and the Baba is suggesting to expand the business in offshores, right? And the third one is a solution, a specific way of satisfying one or more needs in context. So what Olive is saying that great idea, Baba, but how should I approach? Enlighten me, right? So what are the solutions to take our business to offshores? So how can that be achieved? And Baba is providing the solutions that she should go up with the online marketing and tie up with the producer and consumers, and like producer and carriers can be the stakeholder as well. So this is the solution that Baba has suggested. And here comes the stakeholder. So stakeholder are a group of individuals with relationship to the change and need the solutions. So generally we say that client are the stakeholders, but uh, stakeholders can be categorized in separate way, like the business analyst or the sponsors, or the can be like managers as well. So these all individuals which affect our business is known as stakeholder, and what all the requirements and development we do are dedicated to the stakeholders satisfaction. So Oli found Popeye. How does it pronounce? Popeye. Yes, Popeye. And he has a spinach factory. So Popeye is one stakeholder, and for the stakeholder, uh, the stakeholder wants his spinach to be popular among the children. And Baba is considering the another stakeholder, that is the Popeye's manager. So the manager have a separate concept as well. So these things need to be considered. And the next one is value. So what value does our business add to the stakeholder? And finally, the Popeye and Olive has tied up and have a great business, but uh, Baba is suggesting to add a value to it. So uh, he is just saying that the spinach needs to be uh, delivered fast because it is better eaten fresh. And anchor the products. I just mean to say that even the Popeye wants uh, gratifications, like Popeye's company want to be done. So these things add to the value, like the uh, customer wants its business to boom as well. So these are the values that should be considered while doing the business analysis. And this context. So context are the circumstances that influence and are influenced by provide understanding of change. So the context can be anything. Suppose some market, we have the sales market, which is facing a problem because of some circumstances like natural calamities or the opponent being strong in that sector. So here the builder is a greatest hurdle for Papaya's business. And what Baba has suggested to is to decrease the price rate in the builder region. So this is the market competition. So these things are need to be analyzed while going for the business. So uh, we have change, need, solution, stakeholder, context, and the value. Yeah. So these six are the core concepts for the business analysis. So now moving on to business implementation. Sorry. While moving on to the business implementation, these things need to be considered. So it is, generally speaking of it, it tries to say us that, okay, we are going for the project, but we have to define the man hour for the project. We have to define the times that need to be provided or the resource that need to be implemented to get this project done. So these things need to be considered while going for the project. First one is platform, in which platform the project is being designed. Database management, to which database it is being managed upon. And do we have the legacy data? Is it for already existing data, or we are creating from a scratch a new one? And the third party integration is like, do we are delivering a solution for a customer, but those customer might get tied up with somebody else, like healthcare system. If we are delivering a project for healthcare system, it will definitely get tied up with insurance part as well, right? So insurance part will be the third party, and we need to integrate with that. Along with that, if we are delivering a project for banking system, or yep, for the banking system, we might have separate type of integrations. Another is KPI and SLA. So this KPI and SLA defines the progress of the business. But what we need to consider is that while developing a process, do the customer have separate kind of KPI and SLA that need to be implemented within the requirement? So these things need to be considered as well. And finally, the report and the dashboard. So report and dashboard makes the visual presentation of the customer data. So definitely it will add a value. So these things need to be considered because developing a process do comes in between, but along with that, developing a process is the main part. But along with that, these all process need to be considered as well before going for a project, right? And this is the platform. So I have only listed this one. There might be more. We have on-premise, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So in on-premise, everything is done by the end users. So storage, infrastructure, services, all are developed uh, by the client itself. And IaaS stand, sorry, IaaS is IaaS, so it's infrastructure as service. And in this, client manages only the software and platform, and service provider manages the infrastructures. So virtual machine, virtual networks, and as these are example of IaaS. Similarly, we have the PaaS and SaaS. So most of the ERP and the CRM process falls under the PaaS system, because we have a platform that is given to us by the enterprise, and uh, by we will be creating the process or functions or apps within that platform. Like suppose we have a lead management system, we might have a platform to ourselves. We might have the platform by default at first, and what we are doing is generally making an app uh, on that platform. So it goes under the PaaS. Most of the ERP system goes under this, and we have SaaS, service as a software as a service. So it has like OneDrive, Outlook, and Skype. So these are the common examples for this. So I've written something about the key performance indicator. So this key performance indicator used to measure the performance of the companies against their strategic goals. So what does this do is the company defined a basic set of measures that are aligned to the company goal. So point of measurement are input indicates the inputs required for activities to produce an output. What are the things that need to be considered before to analyze the KPI? Suppose we are defining the KPI for attendance. So what can be the input? The input can be the time from which you get departed from your home, and output is the time when you punch the card, right? Activity indicates the transformer process activity. So activity can be you are walking or you are riding bicycle. Mechanism is the way of the time when you punch. The action of punching the card is the mechanism, and control is that okay, if you don't punch the card in time, then you will be fined, or your work will not be counted. So these are the controls. So these things are the measurements while defining the KPI. So I'm just resembling it with a basic example. But for the bigger companies, we have the greater KPIs. And what it does is that what does a smart KPI do is that objective specific. Like it cannot be vague. Uh, the marketing team might have goal to uh, launch their marketing campaign, 5 marketing campaign within 5 months. So these are the specific goals. So if we have the specific goals, then the company tends to perform better. So measurable progress to our goal. It's been 3 months and we have already conducted 4 marketing campaign. Then we are measuring the progress of the goal. We are going good. If we have only completed 2, then we are lacking the KPI. So realistically attainable goals, it means that suppose we have the marketing campaign and we cannot target for like 20 marketing campaign within 5 months, right? So the goals should be realistic. So we can have 6 or 7 up to 10, but we cannot go higher than that. And so relevance to the goal to the organization, time frame of achieving the goal. So these are all defined under the KPI. It's getting quite dark. So moving on next, we have service level agreement. So service level agreements are related to KPI. Basically what happens is first let us describe our service level agreement. So this is the description that it's kind of contract that a service provider do with the client. So it have the description of what the service provider will be providing, and the quality and timing of the service. So how will this service be monitored, and how the problems will be addressed. So this all comes under service level agreement, and uh, here we can see that penalties for non-compliance. So this is very risky part for an project. If we have SLAs, then we need to define the variables of this SLA very carefully, because for the client, uh, it might it might go through the penalties if it is not made right. So these need to be defined very carefully and should be more accurate. And like suppose we have disaster, uh, riot, unconditional riot in the country. So these kind of things we can avoid, and this in these conditions the SLA can be waived. So these are all mentioned in the contract, and it is defined as SLA. And what we get confused is between the SLA and KPI is that SLA and KPI seems to be same, but the difference is that if we have SLA, then the company tries to adjust this SLA as a KPI. So every SLA have KPI, but every KPI cannot be counted as SLA. So we can consider as that. And we have service integration. So like we said, it can be legacy data that there we have already running system, and above it we are defining a new system, or we are defining it from the scratch, but our application need to be integrated with other applications or other companies. So suppose we have incident event from remote device are integrated to ticketing systems. So what happens is, suppose we have we are develop. Spare me a minute, guys. I will turn on the light for that. So suppose we have the weather forecasting system, and what happens is it needs to get the informations, and based on those informations, uh, uh, it is provided, it is shown in the dashboard or the applications. So for that, we need integrations, like the service-based applications or the healthcare system integrate with the insurance coverage system. So healthcare systems generally defined about the patients, uh, and related to the patients and clients. But whenever there is treatment, the now insurance company comes in hand, and so we need to integrate with the insurance coverage system as well. So for integration, we generally use REST or the SOAP APIs. So most of the enterprise ERP system use SOAP API because it provides more security, and we have the public APIs as well. So, and we do have the inbound and outbound integration. So generally, I understand this inbound and outbound integration as what comes in as inbound and what goes out as outbound, because for inbound, the services from other third party comes to us, and in outbound, the service API from our side goes to third party. So finally, going on to the report and dashboard. So report and dashboard are the visual representations. It gives the insights of the progress enterprise. So what we miss is that some projects might fully be delivering the report and dashboard constructions. Like they might have, some companies might have the representing their data in Excels, and they consume most of times while data modeling these and representing in a report. So report and dashboard are very crucial part, because uh, it helps to make the decisions. It is directly it gives insight about the progress to the managers and making the critical decisions, strategic decisions. So in a report, we have we can have a format, grouping, so data field, range filter. So these all things can be done in the reporting. So if we are able to uh, see the reports in as proper format or grouping, then it will be more useful. So what a company requires is a visually attractive reports at the end of the day, and it will definitely increase the man efficiency of the company as well. So these are the types of data visualization that we generally have. One, we have the line chart, and another we have the pie chart, and this is the data reports. So these reports and visualization are categorized according to the needs or the uh, level of employees working on. So suppose business analyst of the company might need these data reports, whereas managers and higher level manager might only need the pie chart or the line chart to see the revenue of the exact month and making the decisions. So these are all comes under visualization. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Anup, for accepting our proposals and sharing your thoughts on the business process implementation. So I think Pranjal Didi is not here because of some internet issues. So if anyone has any question, you can unmute and ask Anup regarding the business process implications. So any question? So yeah, I don't think there are any questions. So thank you so much,
Um,
Anup.
Anup, so I have a question.
Yep. Yep.
So hi, this is Anup Dhakal. So यो सबै प्रोसेसहरू अब छ होइन, तर लाइक अब इफ आर स्टार्टिङ होइन, त्यो अनि लिमिटेड स्टार्टअप भनौँ न, जहाँ चाहिँ लिमिटेड मान्छेहरू छ भने चाहिँ त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ अब हामीले काहीँ न काहीँ त अलिकति कम्प्रोमाइज त गर्नुपर्छ होइन. सो इम्पोर्टेन्ट चाहिँ लाइक केलाई भन्छ, लाइक त्यहाँ अहिलेको मध्येमा वाट यु थिङ्क होइन, इन योर ओपिनियन यो चाहिँ एकदम छोड्नै नमिल्ने कुरा, यो चाहिँ एकदम चाहिन्छ, अरू कुरा चाहिँ पछि बिस्तारै बिस्तारै प्रोसेसमा बरु ल्याउँदा हुन्छ.
सो या फर्स्टमा चाहिँ अब रिक्वायरमेन्टहरू कस्तो हुन्छ, कस्टमरको रिक्वायरमेन्ट हामीलाई के चाहिँ गर्नुपर्ने हो त्यसमा चाहिँ नि हेर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ. अब एनालाइसिस गर्नु पऱ्यो फर्स्टमा चाहिँ कस्तो खालको सिस्टम चाहिने हो. मेन त प्लेटफर्म त चाहिहाल्यो, प्लेटफर्ममा नै डेभलप गर्ने हो. अनि त्यसबाहेक चाहिँ अब जस्तै कि सपोज लिड म्यानेजमेन्ट सिस्टममा नै हामीले चाहिँ के डिभलप गर्न सक्छ भन्दाखेरि अहिलेको लागि नोटिफिकेसन्सहरू, हाम्रो केपिआईहरू, रिपोर्टहरू चाहिँ ओमिट गर्न सक्यो नि त. तर एटलिस्ट लिड म्यानेजमेन्ट सिस्टम भन्ने सिस्टम बनाइसकेपछि चाहिँ ओभरअल इन टु इन फ्लो त चाहियो नि त एटलिस्ट. सो एप्लिकेन्टले गएर भर्छ अनि त्यसपछि म्यानेजरले एप्रुभ गर्छ अनि हायर लेभलमा जान्छ र त्यसलाई चाहिँ इन गर्छ. सो एटलिस्ट यो चाहिँ एउटा कन्क्रिट फुल स्टेप भयो नि त. सो एटलिस्ट यो चाहिँ चाहियो. अब यो चाहिँ नि रिक्वायरमेन्ट निड्स अनुसार चाहिँ चेन्ज पनि हुनसक्छ. सो
ओके, त्यो हामीले भनेपछि त्यहाँ ख्याल गर्नु पर्यो, त्यतिखेर लाइक इमिडिएटली के चाहिरहेछ त्यही हिसाबले गर्नु पर्यो.
यस. सो भ्यालु एड हुने पार्टहरू चाहिँ पछि राख्दा नि भयो, बट एटलिस्ट सिस्टम चाहिँ रन हुनु पऱ्यो फर्स्टमा. सो त्यही हुन्छ.
हुन्छ, थ्याङ्क यू.
Any other questions? I think there are no more questions left. So
Yep.
thank you Anup for accepting our proposal. And so अब चाहिँ एन्ड गर्दिम कि दाइसँग अरू के लास्ट थट्सहरू छ हजुरले सेयर गर्नुपर्ने?
थट्स त छैन. थ्याङ्क यू भन्न चाहन्छु सबैलाई. सो बिङ विथ मी. Thank you everyone. Thank you Swaroop.
Yeah, thank you so much Anup. Hope you have a great weekend and all of you who are here.